everyone. Welcome to yet another session on soft skills and interpersonal communication with me, Waheeda, Assistant Professor at the Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Dundigal, Hyderabad. In today's video, we are going to discuss a few points about presentation skills. What is presentation? Its definition, okay, and definition of a presentation. What are the 4 P's of presentation that we need to take care of? What are the do's and don'ts in presentation? The structure of presentation, how it should be structured. What are the things that you have to take care of when you are speaking in front of the audience? Then comes we are going to study in detail audience analysis. Okay, so how to present in front of different types of audience, like what are the topics that we have to take care of, the level of understanding of your audience, how to keep them engaged with your presentation. Then how to use visual prompts, what are the things that you have to take care in in presentation, like how to take care of the visual aids and prompts, how should be your body language, what are the things that you have to take care before, during, and after the presentation, immediately after the presentation, and what are the barriers that occur during the presentation, how to effectively uh, present your topic, what are the things that you have to take care of. Here are some tips that we are going to discuss. So this is in our agenda today. We are going to study them all in detail. So what is actually presentation, how it is defined? It is information clearly and effectively is a key skill in getting your message across. Actually, in today's world, the tech savvy world, presentations have become the need of the hour. Every college, every institution, in or any organization, if you want to work, you need to know the do's and don'ts of a perfect or effective presentation. Presentation skills required every field, almost in every sector of the organization. You need to have presentation skills to develop presentation skills. So to improve your presentation bit by bit, a section of skills you need is designed to help. Okay, then what does each mean? It is a presentation is a means of communication which can be adapted to various speaking situations, such as talking to a group, addressing a small meeting, small gathering, or briefing up about it to your team. Uh, we are going to study about what goes into presentation, the plan, the 4 P's of presentation. Actually, how do you plan your presentation, how to prepare it, practice it, and then how to present it. We are going to study about it in detail. Okay, so how do you plan your presentation? First, you should know the topic on which you have to prepare. Okay, uh, how much of the time that you are given to speak on, that is also very much necessary. That is why you must know before planning itself, that you should know your targeted audience, to whom are you going to present that. So before planning, if you know who is it that you are going to talk to, that planning will become easy for you, you know. Then it requires a great deal of planning. Very many scholars believe that more than 50% of the mistakes happen during planning sessions, during the stage of the planning, or because of lack of planning. These mistakes occur. So it is the only stage where you can concentrate a lot, and then you can avoid, or you can stop yourself from committing mistakes in your presentation. Okay, make sure you address the following issues that we are going to discuss on. Focus your presentation on the audience. As I told you before, you must know the targeted audience. To whom are you going to talk to? Is it that you are going to talk to school children or college going arts students, science students, or what is their background, or what is their level of understanding, what is the knowledge that they have about that particular topic that you are going to present? Is it a new topic for you, or is it a familiar topic with you as well as your audience? Okay, so if that is clear in your mind, it will be easy for you to plan your presentation. Then after having planned, after having known your audience, you need to organize your information into 3 to 5 points categories. Like uh, I mean, it should not be verbose. Don't put too much of information inside your presentation. And then you need to build repetition. Like, because you are talking to them, you are, if the audience have missed some of the points, they are not having any book or written information so that they can go back and read it out for themselves. So if you have built the repetition, uh, if they have missed out some points during their listening to the presentation, they will have a clear idea as to what is going on in your presentation. Like, because listening is much different from reading. If you don't understand a point, you will go back to the script, to the book, and then you will read it. Okay, but in listening it doesn't happen. So your repetition will assist them in understanding your content. So your audience cannot go back and read over something that they have missed. That is why it is essential that you build a repetition uh, through internal summaries, or you can even do transitions, analogies, and then even stories. How to structure your presentation? First, you need to have the introduction. Actually, it is believed that the main content can be divided into a sort of a pyramid. The introduction, the middle part, and then we have the conclusion. But here, in the recent development in the literature, people are mostly, or in journalism, people are going into the inverted pyramid structure these days. So they give lot of importance, or a lot of information is given in the initial stage, that is in the introduction, and the middle part is medium, and the conclusion is different. So it depends on you, what kind of structure that you want to adopt for your presentation. So what you have to do in the introduction is that you need to grab the audience attention, give them a hook, so that they I mean, as a presenter, ask a question to them, or show some analogies. Okay, throw some questions, give them give the audience a wild goose chase, or some kind of imagination. Put them into some kind of imagination, so they get attracted to, or they get interested in what is it that you're going to talk about. Okay, in this in this grabbing of the audience attention is where you can prove your credibility. How interesting your whole presentation is going to be decided in the first stage of introduction itself. Okay, then go to the main theme. The content should be relevant to the topic. Don't give the topic and give some other content. Don't beat around the bush. Okay, because nowadays, the tech savvy world, as I refer to always, people have lot to do in this short period of time. So their interest wanders from one to another, because they have a lot of options nowadays. So how to hook the audience, how to keep their audience, entirely depends on the presenter. So in this main theme, do not beat around the bush. Go to the target topic immediately. Just after giving the introduction, then go to the summary and conclusion by the key message. Okay, then introduce yourself if needed, providing your affiliation and credibility. Like when you start, pose a question to the audience. Then why are you here? Give them the topic that you are going to talk. And then if you are not a known person, I mean, introduce yourself to them. Then that give the importance of why they are here and why you are here. Okay, and what is it that they are going to take back after attending this lecture? How is it that they are going to be benefited from your presentation? If you give these 4 points to them in a nutshell, they will be eager to sit and listen to your presentation. Okay, create an effective opening that will interest your audience. Pose a question like, as I told you, give an amazing fact, or tell a short story or an interesting short or interesting story to them. Like tell the point. You go subtly. Even if you are giving yourself in introduction, try to say it in the form of a story, because people are really attracted to study stories. They like listening to stories. Okay, so post some, show some stories, small stories. Okay, then go to the real topic to the audience and explain why it is important for them to learn about this. After attending this lecture, how is it that it is going to be beneficial to them? What is it that they are going to take? Okay, then give a brief outline of the major points you will cover in your presentation. Like I just now told you that I'm going to give you brief about what is presentation skills, what are the do's and don'ts of the presentation skills, some structure, audience analysis, okay, some tips as to how to make your presentation effective and a very strong presentation, killer presentation, so that our audience are interested until the end. So go with a mantra that finish your presentation before your audience interest finishes. Okay, then go to the main body. Explain your points. Give clear explanations. Your articulation should be very nice. Proper examples relevant to that. Here and there, if any jokes are needed to make them attracted to your presentation, you can crack some jokes. You can post some anecdotes or things like that, so that they have some sufficient evidence to be convincing. Use transitions between sections of your presentation, like introduction, body, and then conclusion, as well as between points in your main body section. Okay, as I told you before. Okay, then conclusion. When you are concluding the topic, tie all the broken loose ends. Give an ending, proper ending, which is very important. Introduction as well as your conclusion is very important in your topic. Signal your conclusion with the transition. Summarize the points. As I told you earlier also, that if your audience have missed out a small part of your presentation, they should not be confused, or they shouldn't have incomplete information about your presentation. So that is why it is essential in your conclusion part, you need to summarize your points. Then refer to your future action if needed. When before ending your conclusions, tell your audience what is expected of them after having listened to your presentation. What is it that you are expecting? What kind of an action? Is it a thought process, a mind boggling presentation that you have given, or are you asking them to of requesting a future action? And then the last is the answering questions sessions. Tell your audience, I will now be happy to answer your questions. You have to tell them that you are ready to answer. If any queries are there, you are welcome to pose some questions to me. Okay, then these are all stages where we'll go in detail one by one. So this is the introductory, the segments that we have given. I talked about the inverted pyramid style, or the normal introduction, body, and conclusion point. Then we'll come back to the planning session. Usually also include following question when you are planning. Do this. Who is your audience? As I told you before, whether are you presenting to school students, college students, university students, or are you doing PhD scholars, presentation in front of PhD scholars, doctorates, or professors, or is it a mixed audience? Are you speaking to general audience, laymen, or are they educated people? What kind of? You must have a clear picture of who your audience is. Why are they there? Are they going to listen to you for their benefit, or you have some point to prove to them and try to motivate them or to convince them to do certain action? Okay, and in calling them to listen to your presentation, what is your goal behind that is also very important. How long will it be? It is very important at the initial stage in the planning section itself that you decide how much time will be given to you and how much time you have to be talking to them. So, in doing so, you need to make more information, collect more information in your planning, so that if you miss out a few things, you should not be lagging behind with. I mean, you should not be short of information. Okay, so it is better that you collect more information in your planning stage itself. And at the last, where will we take place is also very important. Whether it is an open space, it is a closed auditorium, amphitheater, what kind of locale it is also is very important. Then you prepare. Lot of things go in this stage when you're preparing. Sometimes you plan certain things, but they do not work. Okay. When you are planning, it is something else. But when you are preparing, you come up with so many ideas, maybe. So it requires lot of working in the preparation stage. Many people feel terrified when asked to talk in public, especially when in bigger groups. In my career of teaching of almost 25 years of teaching experience, my students have felt the worst thing that they are asked to do is to come and present. They used to sweat profusely, their hands and legs used to shake, and they sometimes stutter, stammer, and then they sometimes go blank even. So it is one of the fears. Some people say that coming and presenting or talking in front of a group of audience is worse than death. Uh, when the research shows that out of the 10 things that people fear of, the first in countdown is the presentation. I mean, even death comes second. I mean, fear of moths, fear of suicide, fear of animals is lesser than that of presentation. If so, how to give? Actually, mm, people find it very difficult. Otherwise, it is not so difficult if one practices it. So, in this stage, we come to know what is the difference between that fear, to continue with that fear and to get over that fear in this stage. So, which will also lay groundwork for making an effective presentation. Sometimes, what happens if you are very much nervous, it actually helps in enhancing your, enhancing your presentation skills. I mean, if you can use it properly, if you are nervous, it is okay to be nervous, but you should work on that. You should not show that you are nervous. You should work on your feeling of nervousness. That's what is practicing or preparing for presentation is actually all about. And then in this stage of practicing your presentation, which is a very essential part of the presentation, you figure out words and phrases, emphasis, and the timing of your sections and overall presentation also. In this, what you have to do after you have planned, after you have prepared your script for presentation, it is believed that whatever you want to talk in front of your audience, it would be better to write down from the first letter that you are going to speak in front of them to the last word that you are. But in doing so, a few people are good at doing that, and a few people find it very difficult to remember each word, and that's how they become confused. All the more confused when they are going and presenting. So it depends on individual to individual how accustomed they are, how free they are to, do that. So you have to decide for yourself whether you are comfortable remembering and learning the words by heart from the first word to the last word that you are going, or it is in bullet points that you will carry and there you will speak your own words. Okay. After that, you need to record your presentation and review it in order to know how you sound and appear to your audience. So the best thing that you do is read out uh, the content or the matter that you have planned and prepared standing in front of the mirror 3 times. Okay, and observe yourself, your body movement, on how you are stressing, what are the intonation, whether you are working on your MTI, mother tongue influence, how your tonality is there, how, or all these things, you are your best judge. Okay, so practice that in front of the mirror for 2 3 times. Read the matter and look at yourself while you are presenting. Then record your presentation after that. After recording, go through it again. Observe your, mute the presentation, mute that audio, mute the video, and then just observe your body language. Then put the phone aside or whatever, on whichever this thing media you have you have recorded that. Just listen to the content that you have recorded. Then watch the full video. You will know where you are lagging behind, or there are some things that you are lacking. Your body movement, hand movements, whether it is proper, whether you are looking confident or not. All these things you need to uh, work on that. You need to observe. As I told you before, that you are your best judge. Observe that, and if you find any mistakes that are happening, re-record it. Record your video again, and the same process goes by. You have to listen to it once and then mute it and watch it, and then again you watch it with the audio as well. Then even if the process should go on until you think that it is the perfect video, show it to your friends. Okay, and or any person at home, so that they comment, or if they find any mistakes, then try to rectify it at this stage. Yeah, as I told you, practice in front of peers and elicit feedback. Okay, then following parts must be uh, kept in mind while preparing. Like as I told you before, structure, prompt, visual aids, voice, appearance, body language, posture, style, and then questions. In that, we studied in detail about the structure, how you have to structure your presentation, only put important points and try to connect it with a story so that the audience get interested in your content. Then what kind of audio visual the aids that you are attesting to it, attaching to it, where it should be. Okay, mark in your content where you are going to show the or show the video, or are you going to play any audio cassette, or are you playing any video, or are you showing any clips, or ppts, or any picture that you want to add to it. You need to have it ready in your hand. Your voice, you need to tone it up, proper intonation, pitching of the voice. Okay, so uh, how are you sounding? It is very important. And then your appearance. Are you aptly dressed to the occasion when you're going and presenting uh, somewhere in functions, or you need to be appropriately dressed, or if you are, it is a casual gathering or a formal gathering, you need to be appropriately dressed. Appearance makes a lot of difference. Your first impression is made in the first 4 seconds or 7 seconds of the first appearance of you by your audience. It is always believed that your first impression is the best impression. It's an old saying, and you will never get a second chance to make that first impression. So it is very important how you appear. The first appearance lasts with them. Okay, so work on that. A few days before uh, actually going to the presentation, you need to start working on your presentation, how to get yourself ready with the appropriate dress, as well as the hairstyle, and things like that, grooming part, everything you have to work for. Then goes body language, the kind of posture that you are maintaining in front of the audience. Some people have weird styles of standing and putting hands in the pockets and scratching the head, scratching the face, and if you're sweating profusely, people wipe the sweat and scratch the ears, and some wink, some blink. Okay, all these things have to be taken care of. Standing posture, sitting posture, everything should be very well concentrated. Like, you need to work on that. You need to concentrate how you are going to appear. What is your body language? Okay, so, the standing posture, closed body posture. These are types of posture that one, you are giving signal to your audience. If you are not comfortable with them, usually people have closed body posture. Then, if one is not, happy with the audience, that anything that comes in between the audience and the presenter is not a welcome thing. And also the distance one need to maintain when you are a presenter. That required distance has to be maintained. You are supposed to be on the stage and the audience in their own place. You cannot just barge into the audience and just sit along with them and then present. Is it how is it sounding? Is it sounding good that the presenter himself has come and sat on the audience seat and giving presentation? It's not a welcome, isn't it? So that distance has to be maintained. The presenter has to face the audience, okay, and the audience have to face the presenter. The prerequisite of all is uh, keeping maintaining eye contact with the audience and keeping a smiling face, and trying to maintain close, whether close rapport with them, as if though you are being understood by your audience. And you have to also maintain the posture, your style of talking, your style of standing, behaving, all that also matters. Then comes the questions session. What are the questions that you are going to be answering by your audience. Yeah. Then we will go to the structure. Write your presentation in this order. What is the objective of your presentation? Beginning or introduction, like as I told you, then the main content, summary, conclusion, and recommendation, and then questions. Put your entire prompt onto your PowerPoint slides. Don't overcrowd with prompts. Yeah. In making your PPTs or each audio visual, whatever prompts that you are adding to your presentation, don't try to dump in too much of information. The last thing that you should do is make the slides. It is not that you make the slides first and then decide on your topic and on your content. It is in the end, after having arranged your topic, after you have planned it, after you have prepared it, it is now the time for you to prepare the slides. PowerPoint presentation slides have to be made in the end, after having decided on what is the presentation going to be. Don't overcrowd with that. Don't dump in too much of information, because if you put in whatever the information is there, if you show a lot of slides, your importance as a presenter diminishes. You are not so much important, because now the if you're showing something, instead of seeing you, the audience attention goes to the screen. Okay, so from you, the interest or the focus, you as a focus will shift to the screen. So that is not a positive signal for you as a presenter. So show very few things, only give bullet points, so that you give the information. It is not that you are a substitute over there on the stage and your information is all dumped in on the slide, and the audience do not need you. It should not be like that. Helping to hold your audience attention, it is required, and also to act as a reminder of what you wanted to say. Only those points have to be added into the uh, slides, that which will help you to remember what is it that you are going to talk on. Only use visual aids if they are necessary to maintain interest and assist comprehension. If visual aids are not used well, they can ruin your present. Instead of enhancing your presentation, they might ruin, they might damage your presentation altogether. So if these visual aids are not properly used in your presentation, they might they might spoil your complete presentation. What you actually happens is, when the speaker is giving an impact, 55% of the content is your visual, how you are appearing, how you are presenting your presence, and then 38% is your vocal. Only what you are speaking or any audio cassette you have played will have only 38% of its effect, and 7% is the text. With this, I want to show you one example. The above pie chart that just now I showed you is the most prominent and useful part of the presenters in the visual aids. Research shows that visual aid is the most important in presentation because it grasps the attention of the crowd and it hooks them to the topic. Here you can see which one did you see the first. Did you see the picture or did you see the written text? They both mean the same. But which was easier for you to comprehend? I hope the picture, isn't it? So things which are depicted instead of the written text, these will have great impact on the audience. Then we here also the coloring aspect, the one that which has the colors, will have great effect rather than the black and white thing, isn't it? So you must use some color and fonts in the slides which are very attractive, very attractive to look at it, but it should not diminish your credibility as a presenter. Like as I told you, use simple fonts and color and graphs. Use images and clip art in your slides. You have to take care of these things. 3 to 7 bullets per slide. As I told you before, you should not dump in too much of your information. Don't overcrowd your slides. Don't dump in too much of information. New or different visual aids to interest audience and hook them to the presentation. Your voice, another important thing, is how louder or how clear is your voice is, and in your normal pitch should be audible and confident. You should neither be very fast nor be very slow. If you're very fast, people might not understand your topic. And try to do not fake accent. Okay, some people have this habit of starting their conversation or presentation with an accent, and gradually they come to their own accent. It is a very bad sign in your presentation. If you are trying to fake presentation, you fake your accent, you have to do it throughout your presentation. If you are adopting for American or British or any other country's way of pronunciation or accent, you need to do it throughout your presentation. But what happens usually with some people is that they start the presentation with a fake accent, and then gradually they come to their original one, which is a very bad sign. Actually, it is a complete no in formal presentations. Vary pitch and volume according to the sentence form. Like I told you before, also that intonation we need to take stress, and rhythm, rhyme, everything we need to take care of. Increase pitch and stress on words which are important for the presentation, but do not repeat the same for every single time the word is used. So you have to take care of these when you are doing your presentation. The voice should be very um, audible. You should neither be very slow. If you are slow, people might lose interest in your presentation. Okay, as I told you, appearance also, dark colored, red as business like. Wear comfortable shoes to wear your feet evenly. Allow yourself to move a bit, and do not put high ties and very tight ties so that you are feeling uncomfortable and you are moving your tie every now and then. Do not. Touch your clothings, or do not play with your nails, or don't scratch, as I told you before. Putting hands in your pockets while doing so, that is a closed body posture. It is not advisable to do so. Open body posture, movement of the hands is very important. Looking into the eyes of your audience, and also looking confident is very important. And how confident you are all depends on the way that you have prepared your presentation. You will look confident if you know the content, if you know how to present, if you know what are the things that you have there to present. Okay, if you're comfortable, you will look confident. It is not only that you look confident, but you are not actually confident, isn't it? If that is not a welcome thing. So here the picture is showing how the professionals dress code should be. Classic necktie, then they have pressed clean shirt, classic business suit, then leather belt. Okay, some people wear canvas shoes or sport shoes. So I'll show you some of the pictures which are formal and which are informal. matching suit pants, working professional pen, clean haircut also. Here is a picture which is showing two types of people: acceptable dress code and unacceptable dress code, which is a professionals and a non-professional dress code. If it is acceptable to have a presentable appearance, and then there is a difference between that. You can observe the one that is formal looks professional. As I told you about the style also, you already have a style. Don't try to copy others. Okay. Use words and sentences you use in normal days and be yourself. Don't try to copy others, or don't try to copy accent. As I told you, it's don't try to imitate fake accents, and then gradually when you are doing your, you have come into your natural way, your accent has completely vanished. Don't show that. To make your audience comfortable, you need to be comfortable first. Okay, then only you will be able to work on your presentation. Posture reflects attitude, emotions, and intentions. It should be open and welcoming. As I told you before, also they should have a comfortable posture, and feel also should be very comfortable. Active, enthusiastic. You should be happy about the topic. You should not look dull, or you should not be looking down when your audience are sitting in front of you, or don't look here and there like that when you are talking to somebody. Okay, try to look into the eyes of your audience and try to look confident with a proper body posture. Okay, appearance speaks lot. How you carry yourself speaks volume about yourself. Okay, so you need to have some idea, a rough idea about what is it that the what kind of questions that the audience might ask you. It should be actually referring to the topic that you have talked. It is up to you whether you can take questions not related to your topic, whether you are interested to take them or not, depends on you. But it is advisable, take questions pertaining to your topic only. Then, while asking for questions, start with, I'll be answering questions now. When people are asking questions, listen carefully and don't interrupt nor break their decorum. Because people will also have some questions, they come with a train of thought. It is on the part of the audience also that they should not disturb you or break your decorum. And also, when you have given them chance to speak, it entirely depends on you not to break their decorum, or then don't try to stop them and start answering. Let them complete their question, then start answering the question. If the question is specifically shy or hesitant, try to be more friendly by smiling and encourage them to ask. Do not try to put a stern face or a serious face when your audience are asking something that maybe you are not willing to say. But always keep a smiling face. It depends, as I told you before also, that it depends on you whether you want to answer that question. If any personal question they are asking, it's up to you whether you want to answer or not. But keep a smiling face throughout your presentation, as well as in your question answer session as well. Don't frown or express dislike if they question something unexpected. Answer as uncontroversial as possible. That was the preparation phase. Then we have you. Then first idea, the improved idea in the preparations to stage. Then we have the story design, visual concept, graphics execution, delivery coaching, execution, and then the audience. This is the preparation phase that we are into at this stage. So, preparational material, like you can use handouts and also personal notes, internet, and visual aids in this. In last of the piece, the four piece of presentation, after you have gathered your information, you have prepared it with all the content like just now we discussed, the first idea, whether that idea was apt to the topic that has been given to you, or if you have selected the topic. And then the second stage goes as the improved idea. Then you have designed the story of how you are going to proceed further in your presentation. Then you added some visual concept to it. Wherever necessary, appropriate videos or audio has been inserted. Then the graphic execution has been done over there. And as I told you before, that you have to practice yourself standing in front of that. Delivery coaching is being given, and then comes the stage of the execution, wherein you are in front of the audience. Okay, then we'll talk about the preparational material. What are the things that you have to have along with your presentation? Some handouts, personal notes, and internet and visual aids, as I told you before. Then we'll come to the last part, the third part of the four P's of presentation is the practice. As the picture suggests, I told you that you need to read out or present your content in front of the mirror to know how you are appearing. You will be you will present better if you have prepared effectively. Okay, this does not necessarily mean that you have written out your speech verbatim and rehearsed it until you know it's off by heart. Although that might work for some people. As I told you before, this also I told you that for some people it works best that they learn the whole thing right from the beginning of the first word to the last word that they are going to present. They will learn it. For some it works, for some it doesn't work. So you have to decide for yourself whether you are going to take the bullet points or are you going to learn the whole thing by heart. But usually it makes you nervous if, for instance, if you forget one word, the whole information might make your head blank. You don't have to memorize your speech word by word. You should have the topic in your hand and you can go about proceeding it. You have to rehearse all points, what you have prepared. Rehearse with all visual aids and handouts. When you are going to show the audio or show the video or play the audio, you need to be very clear. But if you have said the whole thing and you are later on somewhere else or at the end of the presentation, if you are showing the relevant video, it is not going to benefit the audience. So wherever it is necessary, when you are talking about it, that visual aid has to be present or the handout has to be distributed at the exact time. uh, and then here in this stage you have to practice again and again to manage time. As I told you earlier, uh, your audience interest should not end before your presentation has ended. Okay, people should be willing to listen to you, or if not they are not allowing you to leave the presentation, at least they should not feel bored or wish that you should leave the stage. Okay, so this you must keep in mind before doing that. Practice again and again to manage time. Rehearse in front of mirror or a friend, as I told you before. Then presentation, that is the big day when you are really on the stage to present your content. Again, working on the body posture, looking into the eyes of your audience. Okay, engage the audience in first 2 to 3 minutes. As I told you before, first impression lasts forever. it is the best impression, and you will never get a second chance to make that first impression. Engage your audience. Okay, first 2 to 3 minutes, how you present, and when you have entered and you are standing in front of them, don't pose such questions. I don't know why the people have called me. I do not have much information about that. I'm very thankful that you have come and spared your time. It diminishes your credibility. Okay, don't let your audience question their decision of having come, left all their work and come and sat sitting there over to listen to you. Okay, never underestimate yourself in front of your audience. Never let them question their decision. Understand? Show your passion through your movements, that you are movements and gestures of the body, that you are very much interested in the topic that you are presenting. Okay, don't pose that the favorite topic has gone to someone else and I was left with the leftover topics and here I am presenting them. Don't say that. Okay, try to speak with lot of zest and zeal, vigor, and your gestures, your actions should, hand movement should show that you are very interested in the topic. Make and eye contact and maintain throughout the speech. Don't glare at one person, or don't fix your eyes on one person's eye. I mean, spread your eyes to the whole of the hall, or wherever the presentation is going on. You need to look into the eyes of the audience. Do not focus, or do not put your eyesight in one place. Understand? Don't forget to smile as well, unless your topic is very grim. Okay, so you have to remember that, and keep a smiling face. It requires only 4 muscles to smile and 400 muscles to frown. Always smiling is a very good gesture, and it gives your brain a signal to keep yourself happy, and it sends signals, and it has the hormones which will keep you happy. So always keep a smiling face. Okay, unless the topic is that of a grim reality or sad topic. Unless and until the topic is like that, you can always have a smiling face. Then we come to barriers of communication, or barriers in effective presentation. uh, there are many of them. A few we are going to discuss how they can be taken care of. Speaking in front of a large audience makes persons nervous and fearful of scrutiny and eventually dislike. So everyone has that kind of a feeling, whether we'll be scrutinized, we'll be judged by the people. People forget here and there if we make any mistakes, because they are not our enemies. Our audience are not our enemies. Always remember that part. Okay, here and there, if we make any mistakes, they are going to forget that. So, always think that they are our well wishers, and you will see in your audience some smiling faces, some faces which are nodding their head and they are trying to understand your content. So, always search for those smiling face, and try to smile back at them, to keep a rapport or keep a connection with them while you are presenting. It is positive as long as the speaker is motivated and concentrating, but it proves negative when it takes a toll on the presenter. It looks good that you are smiling and you are having an eye contact with them. So, to remove your fear, you need to be actually very well prepared. If you have well performed in front of your mirror as well as your friends and family, then you will get over that fear. How interesting and engaging the topic is, mistakes can also be clarified. Here, if you have lack of enthusiasm as a presenter, you are not interested in the topic, or if you have not prepared well, the required content has not been accumulated, okay, it has not been gathered, or you are not competent enough to present that content, it will lack enthusiasm. If enthusiasm is lacking, it might create as a barrier in presentation. You should be excited about your topic and make it engaging, and try to increase the audience enthusiasm and interest towards the topic. You try to have maximum knowledge about the topic and try to make it interesting with here and there small examples, and try to post some questions, anecdotes, and small story connected with that, or small incident that has occurred in your life which is relevant to the topic. And then the third thing that will act as a barrier in presentation is the lack of practice. It is explanatory. As I told you that more than 50% of the mistakes happen at the stage of the planning if you have not planned properly, or if you have not planned at all. So this also is of, if you don't have the proper information, you have not practiced properly, you have not given time to it, or maybe you had lack of time. There will be a barriers between the audience and you increases widely because of the lack of practice. Excessive practice never harms you, it is not going to have any side effects. So do excessive practice, practicing of your information, of your presentation. Lack of related material. As I told you before, if you are not having information or knowledge related to the topic, that might also act as a barrier in an effective presentation. If you are beating around the bush, you are trying to divert the audience interest to something else which is not related to the topic, they might lose interest in it. Keep the content as close to the topic as possible, and important details first, and if you have extra time, then add in-depth aspects of the content. Lack of confidence and lot of hesitation. So if sometimes, if you are well versed with the topic, you have the required knowledge, the content is very good, you have prepared well, but if you do not have proper confidence, if you are hesitant in presenting your content, then it will also act as a barrier. Your hesitation, your shyness, your fear or anxiety that you are going through, if you are open in showing it, and if you are not an expert in hiding your nervousness, then it is going to spoil your presentation completely. Remove your inner barriers one by one through practice. How to be confident. Videos on YouTube help a lot as to how to give a great presentation, how to start a killer presentation. These are some of the topics that you can see on the internet. And very many things I have given you complete information, but anything other than this, if you require, you have YouTube with you. Ambiguity in the result that you want to conclude, whether a different type of people have entered as the audience, whether the conclusion that you want to give, you are not clear, there is ambiguity in that, vagueness is there, as the what are the repercussions that are going to be if I speak in this manner. If you have that doubt, if you are not having any clarity, that might also act as a barrier in your presentation. Inability to control one's ideas. Yeah, it is something like the third point. Lack of relevant material is not there. You are, as I told you, you are beating around the bush, and you are not thinking of what is it that you need to focus. Then this will act as a barrier in your presentation as well. Then clear your mind by taking in deep breaths, drinking hot coffee, and lot of water before the presentation to cool off your nerves. This is also very important. After having worked on all the things, like your planning, preparation, practice, and then coming to the presentation, you have to eat properly, take a lot of carbohydrates to maintain that anxiety that your body will be going through, how much of energy that is required in an effective presentation. It depends all about what is your intake. Okay, don't take any oily foods. Okay, have lot of coffee or hot liquid so that your stamina is built in, and it will be equilibrium with the kind of pressures that you are going to go through. On after having prepared, after having planned, prepared, and then practice, and then you have come for presentation, reach the stage of uh, reach the place of your presentation before some 10 to 15 minutes or 20 minutes before your presentation. I mean, before the starting of the function or the presentation itself, you need to know exactly what are the audio visual aids that are present over there. Always have a plan B ready with you. Okay, if this slides are not going to work on that system, I must have my laptop ready, or the cords or the cables that are required to connect with your HDMI cable or any other cable that is required to connect with your system. How the software is, how the how the required audio visual aids are going to play. So it is very much necessary that you must have all the things ready. If they are not working in that place, some cables are not there or internet connection is not proper, you must have your dongle ready with you so that you give the internet access. Okay, everything you should be ready. You must always carry along with you a plan B. If that plan does not work, how is it that I'm going to show my slides? It should not hamper your presentation because you are not having the slides with you, whether you are having your pen drive with you or you have taken the content in your mobile phone, or have you sent it to your mail. Is it is the internet active over there so that you can open your mail and show the material or the audios or videos that you wanted to play? Is it playing properly, whether the audience are able to listen properly, whether the mic system is proper. Okay, whether the audios, the mics, all the things are proper. Is the last of the audience able to listen and see? Yeah, and what is the background of the screen that you are going to show? Is it visible from the last chair of the auditorium or the hall where you are giving your presentation? You should take care of all these things. And then the review factors for successful presentation. Be over prepared. Yes, lack of preparation will hamper your presentation. It will spoil your presentation. But if you are over prepared, it is going to enhance your presentation. Rehearse and practice. Okay, rule on your topic. You are the king or the queen of your topic. Now that you have selected the topic, you have planned it, you have prepared it, you have practiced it, and now you have come to present it, then you are the ruler of the topic. You need to rule on that. Know your subject. It is very important that you know what you are presenting. You have to have a thorough knowledge of the subject that you are going to present, and you need to be positive always. This is a very good uh, asset that one has. That person is very positive. More than 50% of the problems are solved if the person is positive. Always think of the best and be ready for the worst. Okay, that's why I told you as to how you should be ready with the plan B. Always you must have ready information, like if this is not going to work, how is that you are going to work on that. Then avoid stress. If in your stress, your ability to think logically is hampered. So avoiding stress again is avoiding more than 50% of your problems. Then we have tips for effective presentation. Decide on what your message should be. Like, do not present anything without having any idea about what you are going to talk. That is what is planning. In planning, you have to go. And then I told you that you should not drift from your actual gist of what you have presented. Do not memorize what you want to say. And then start off strong and with confidence. If you plan your opening statements, this will get you started on the right foot. If you are showing, I told you that if you are confident, your first appearance to your audience is confident, then they are going to take that, continue that feeling for you till the end of your presentation. Like, make natural transitions your between your points, like for grabbing attention. Give some anecdotes, throw some jokes, as I told you before. The first point is, I'll talk about the second point, like that. You need to go one by one. So, and show them with points. After this presentation, you are going to take back home, take home these 4 points, and after that, you are not going to make any mistakes in your presentations. You will know the secrets of effective presentation. You should keep on giving them these lines all the time to keep their interest intact in your presentation. Then maintain eye contact with the audience. I have been telling you right from the beginning itself, the rapport that is there in it connects something from if you are looking into the eyes of your audience. And you should not focus your attention to one person or a few persons in the whole gathering. I mean, take your view from the right, from the left, right to left, left to right, and looking always into the eyes of the audience will connect them to you. Okay. uh, and do not stare onto their faces. Like, focus on your audience, give utmost attention to the audience, because they are your boss today. With your eye contact, speak with your heart, communicate to them, connect with them, create a rapport with them, rather than talk to them, rather than just I mean, sending your information, rather than putting your words or ideas to them. Try to connect with them, try to be a road to change their level of thinking, change their views, okay, to their future. Occasionally throw in off the cuff remark. If you want your style to be flexible, trust your instinct and add a few words and sentences that just pop into your head. If you have thought, I mean, already decided that this is this and this you are going to talk, if certain things that come to your mind in between, you just can share it with your audience. It always happens. Like, when you have come the backstage, certain things happen which are related or connected to your topic. You can just address them to your audience to make your presentations interesting. Okay. In order to make a successful presentation, you need to keep in mind the following aspects. Conquering stage fear. Another thing is that mm, they many I mean, professionals, they never have completely lost this stage fear. I told you, you must nurture yourself to hide that nervousness. You have to practice how to hide your nervousness. Everybody is nervous, you know. Use that nervousness to perform better. If you are nervous, you will work towards it. Okay, if you work towards it, you are going to improve on it, and if you improved, it will add up to your confidence, and if you are showing confidence, your performance will be confident. So it's like a circle, one thing leads to the other. Okay, the initial stage, once you are given the topic, once you are asked to present something, that kind of nervousness or anxiety is felt by the candidate. But if they gather courage and they decide to work on it, nothing like it. It is very easy if one practices. The theory part, as long as you keep on thinking, you're arranging the information, all these things will be in theory. Until you come and present in front of the audience, you will never get over that fear. Okay, at the backstage you might be thinking it is very easy because I have the content, I have practiced the matter, I have practiced in front of the mirror. Okay, my friends also, I have spoken in front of them. I don't have any fear now. If you go with that overconfidence, you might not know how you are going to feel in front of the larger audience. So it is always advisable that you have to have that nervousness, nurture it, use it to perform better. Okay, never become overconfident, never show your overconfidence to your audience. They might feel disrespected. In that, you need to conquer your stage fear. How does it go? By continuously performing. I told you, your audience are not your enemies. So always search for those smiling faces, those nodding faces that they are trying to understand your content. Okay, so that is one of the main reasons of the stage fright is that one is not accustomed to speaking in public. If you start speaking and there is no looking back at it, believe me, try to speak in front of your people, and it is nothing that cannot be learned. It is a skill and it can be honed. People can learn anything that they want to learn. If you have that willingness, you will be able to rule the stage. Like some symptoms like mental block, trembling eyes, excessive sweating, lack of fluency, stammering, stuttering, all these might be felt by the presenter. But as I told you, you have to uh, learn to nurture it, to conquer the stage fright. Simple warm up exercises, rotating your arms and moving your facial muscles will will with natural ease. As I told you, eating carbohydrates in meals which will be taken before the presentation, bananas and chocolates would help you. Take deep breath. Okay, take deep breaths and try to calm yourself. I can make a successful presentation. Utter this in yourself, that I am going to be a confident person myself. I'm going to do the best. It is only then that you can get over the stage fear. I can make a successful presentation. Repeat these things before going to the stage. Then comes the audience. What as the audience as such have to be like when you are doing the presentation? The most important thing for a presentation is your audience. Consider their age group and find out whether all of them from same age groups or varied background. Those things that we have discussed earlier, we just have thrown some light on that, but here we are discussing them in detail. I told you, audience analysis is a very significant point in your presentation. It is a pivotal role that the audience play. If the audience are not there, your presentation there is a no question of your presentation, isn't it? So they play a very significant role in the success effectiveness of your presentation. Know their needs. Why have they come over here? What is it that they want from you? Okay, their requirement before planning. Ask yourself how your presentation will help them and what you want them to know by the end of your presentation. This is very important. Then content of your presentation, it should be very clear, to the point. 7 C's of communication: concise, clear, to the point. It should not be verbose. Too much of content should not be put in, so that the audience become confused as to what is it that they have to take in and what is it that they have to leave. Okay. And it should be crisp, to the point. Okay. And there should not be any rumors inside that. People should be believing in that. It should be crisp. And then it should be shortened according to the time allotted. We discussed about this earlier also. Preparing the content, remembering to highlight the key points which you support your argument is very essential. Support your mm, content with the points with small examples, stories, anecdotes, or quotes of famous personalities. Then we studied about the structure of your presentation. Generally, a presentation starts with an introduction, followed by the body of the speech, and ends with a conclusion. Then the conclusion is also very important. It should help the audience understand the significance of your talk. Why was your talk so important? It should not be too long. I gave you the example of the inverted pyramid and also the normal pyramid. It depends on you as to what kind of audience they are. As before I mentioned that we people are tech savvy, and we have the exposure, easy exposure to the social media. So how to keep their interest intact does makes the difference. There is one very important point to remember: if what you are doing or saying is not working, do something else. One of the worst feeling as a presenter is that you have lost your audience. After some time, your audience have started seeing your phone or trying to call up somebody to engage themselves with, or trying to find out some more interesting thing. That is a big failure on the part of a presenter. That's happened in your, and you continue to stumble through your remaining PowerPoint slides for the next 15 minutes. As your audience checks their phone and wishes it was coffee time, you think you have no choice, but that's not actually true with you. When you present, you are in charge of the room. You are the king, as I told you before. You are the king or the queen of that. You rule. So you try to present yourself in such a way that you are attractive to them. Your tone is attractive to them. Your personality as a whole is attracted towards you. People are attracted towards you. You can, for example, skip through some of the slides to a section that you may not find very interesting about. Ask your audience whether there is a particular information that they were expecting that you are not avoiding. This, you of- if you feel that the audience, you are losing your audience, try to ask them anything that they require on some parts. It is better to have a chart wherein you are trying to focus on the information that you are having. So the audience might be interested to the sub points that the audience are interested in. These are all located like a tree, or a pictorial graph or a pie chart. So you are trying to focus on one part of the whole, and the other part, and the audience are interested on the other part of the other segment of that topic. So it is always better to inquire from your audience whether you want to stick with this information, or you want to skip to that other part in where they wa- have some interest to. Suggest that everyone looks a bit sleepy, and maybe it would be better to start question early or have a discussion. This way, this suggestion will also wake the sleeping audience sometimes. So it is better to ask your audience at the beginning itself as to which area that they want to concentrate more on, whether it is the content session or the question query session, or what part of the topic that they are interested in. It is better to have a view. If you do not know the audience, if the audience are general, from layman or the common public, or people from different sectors of the society, whether they are businessmen, entrepreneurs, or students, professors, teaching faculty, okay, or other technical background people. Sometimes there are seminars, conferences in which people from different sector of the society come and join. So if you are in such a situation, if you are doing a presentation for the general people, you need to gather that information, so that you make your content interesting, and you require you are required to give the required knowledge that they have come to gain over here. The best way to do that is to accept feedback, which may include smiles, nods of interest, or people getting their phones out. If you keep on concentrating on all these aspects and try to focus your attention on all these things and prepare well, it is going to be a killer presentation, believe me. I have thrown light on all the aspects as to how much time before the actual presentation you need to start planning, preparing, and how much time do you need to practice your presentation, and what are the things that you have to take care of about the auditorium or the place of your presentation, about the software, about the audio system and the video system, the cable or the overhead projectors, whatever available resources are there, how to utilize them to the maximum and enhance your presentation skills. How can you come over the barriers that might occur, try to have a control over them, and try to be present with a plan B always. And that's how we can make our presentation the best. With this, sign off. Bye for now.
Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.